Hello, and thank you for serving on this Sunday, January 28th, 2024. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of what to expect today in the kindergarten through 5th grade classrooms. It is Memory Verse Sunday, so things are a little bit different than normal. So you're going to arrive at 9:30 to the check-in room so that we can pray together as a team. And then when you get to the classroom, you're going to set out the centers so that students can do centers as they begin arriving at 9:45. They can do center choices at their tables. At 10:10, they're going to clean up those centers. Maybe begin a little bit sooner than that so they're done cleaning at 10:10, but they need to clean it up completely, including if there's any pieces on the floor, and put them back in the white bookcase near the front door. At that point, they're going to go to the carpet. You should have the YouTube Kids app open. So you're going to open the YouTube Kids app, click on Lindsay, and then get to the playlist Oaks, and you will find the song Shout Hosanna by LifePoint Kids Worship with Motions. So they're going to do that worship song together. Now, this is where things are going to change a little since it's Memory Verse Sunday. At this point, bring over the paper memory verse with this month's memory verse from Lamentations 3:22 through 23, and they're going to practice it multiple times until you hear that it is time to start walking towards the sanctuary. You will receive a text that will tell you that it is time to begin walking the kids up. You're going to line them up at the right-hand door to enter the sanctuary, and you're going to stay there outside the door until you hear that the passing of the peace has begun, and that's when you're going to walk the kids up to the front of the sanctuary. So they're going to do the memory verse together, and then it's time to split classrooms. So if you are teaching 3rd through 5th grade, you want to make sure to bring the yellow bag with you because it has almost all the materials that you need each week. It's got your lesson plans. It has all the smaller materials. The only thing that won't be in your bag is you are going to need the big poster board tacos letters, and those are already in the classrooms up there, but everything else is in the bag, and it's paper clipped and labeled as for boys or girls. So after you do the memory verse, you're going to split, and you're going to move to the back of the sheet at this point. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pray together using the taco strategy. We've been doing this since August, so they should be very familiar. Thankfulness, adoration, confession, others, and self. Let them give 2 or 3 examples of each thing, calling on different students for them. Confession, I would just say confession is sin, which we have talked about lots of times, that sin is thinking that our way is better than God's. And so we just kind of leave it at that so that they don't feel like they have to confess sins in front of their entire class, and have that be between them and God. And then they're going to pray the Lord's Prayer, and then there's follow-up questions. There's no story this week because it is much shorter with the memory verse time, but also because we're going to focus in on that tacos prayer strategy instead of doing a new story this week. So they're going to do those follow-up questions. And then for the craft, both groups have a similar craft this week with some slight differences. So the first thing that you're going to do is they're going to have tacos poster boards. So they're going to do the T, the A, the O, and the S. The C, I would discuss it with them as a whole group and just say, for C, for confession, we are just going to write the word sin on it. And we're going to leave it at that. We're not going to add any extra words. But the other letters, you can do the same way upstairs and downstairs. Give them a letter for a small group. So maybe at a table that has 5 or 6 kids at it, give them the letter T, and they can each write one thing that they are thankful for. And then a different group of 5 or 6 kids can have the letter A, and they could write down one thing that they adore God for. Each student write one thing, so they each have a piece of this. So if you're downstairs, you'll probably have 20 or so things written on each letter when all is said and done. Now, there will probably be tables that don't have a letter at any given time. And so the tables that are waiting for a turn to write letters will have a worksheet. Everyone will have the worksheet at the same time, and they can work on it when they are not writing on the big letters. And I'm going to show you what some of those worksheets look like. So these are the 2 examples. I made 2 examples of ways that they could make it. So the one, I kind of color coded each letter, and I wrote things that I was thankful for, things that I adore about God. Confession, I just wrote sin. Others, and self, I wrote the labels at the top, and then I color coded them and wrote examples below. Another way they could do it is they could write the words underneath the letters to remember, and then inside the letters write their examples of things that they that match those letters in tacos. So my kids made some samples. So those are mine. Quinn and Nolan made ones for the 3rd through 5th grade classrooms upstairs. So you will also have examples upstairs to look at as well as downstairs. So when they initially receive the sheet, it will look like this. And then the poster boards look like this. It's just a giant poster board with that. Don't let them write on the outside because I am going to trim them out afterwards. But so the T, and then the A and the COS. Now upstairs, you have the same ones. The only difference for upstairs is that they have already done the T and the A letters already. So, and C, have that discussion about how we're just going to write the word sin on it and nothing additional. And then they can do the O and the S. So they're going to spend more time probably on this worksheet than this. The other thing for upstairs is I also, for both groups, left a second lesson plan that is, and I highlighted in yellow that it is just the activity, the craft from the previous week on the 21st, because they did not get to their craft last week and I really would like for them to. So if they get their C, their O, and their S big letters done and this worksheet done, if they get those finished, then they can work on finishing that craft. I'm going to go ahead and show that to you so that you can see what the craft looks like. All right, so inside the bag, you're going to see this. This is the 3rd to 5th grade girls I pulled so you can see it more closely. It's paper clip, so it's got this week's lesson, and then behind it is last week's lesson. So I just highlighted it in yellow to do if there is extra time. And so if there is extra time, they were just making a star collage and writing the verse from Genesis 15:5, which matched our lesson from last week about Abraham. So there are sheets with collage papers that they can cut out stars and glue onto the white paper. The white paper is already in their classroom. So on the white paper, they're going to write Genesis 15:5 themselves, and then they can cut and glue from the pictures of the galaxies and the stars to go with it. So if there is extra time after they finish their tacos worksheet and their tacos giant letters that they're going to hang in the classroom, then they can do that. And remember, the upstairs kiddos they already have them up there, and they're just doing the C, O, and S upstairs. The final reminder is that at the end of today, it's going to be at 11:10 instead of 11:15. Well, actually, let's have it be 11:15 this week since it's a little bit later with memory verse and things. At 11:15, the kids are going to head back downstairs for dismissal. You will not be getting a text any longer to let you know that the sermon is ending and to come back down. You are just going to have a set time to come back down. On Memory Verse Sunday, we're going to try out 11:15 to see if that works. And so at 11:15, most likely our police officer will meet you outside to walk you back downstairs at 11:15. And when you come back downstairs, all students need to be in the worship area. In the playlist that we have on our YouTube app, there are 2 Abraham videos. You can choose which one you want to show. One is 14 minutes, one is 10 minutes. You can turn it on, you can turn the lights off and have the light projector, which shows stars to kind of show the Abraham verse about his descendants being like stars. So have the lights off, that show on, and the lights on, or the light projector on, so that they kind of be calm and listen as their parents are arriving and for their names to be called for dismissal. But that is it. Thank you guys so much for serving this week. I will see you next Sunday.